when you're number one, nobody else exists.
No one ever in a million years thought that WCW/NWO didn't exist. No one would have thought ever in a million years, including me, that we would have ever beat them on any level. NWO, man, for life.
Suck it, suck it, suck it, suck it.
I watched him climb all the way up on the Trinitron and do the Swanton.
I can't take that stuff, bro. I can't.
And he's just diving down that wave, no fear. And he has fear for a moment, he could have screwed up. They were up on the X Factor impact ring and the cage, and he fell, but he hung by his knees, Chris, and Frankie slid back, caught him, and they both did the exact same fall.
To this day, bro, I don't like watching wrestling where I have a fear of somebody getting hurt badly. That's not what turns me on. What the freak? Why are you guys doing that?
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Bro Show once again. I am Dr. Chris. This is Vince Russo, former WCW World Heavyweight Champion and former WCW World Heavyweight Champion and WWE Hall of Famer DDP. Page, how are you tonight, my man?
I'm great. Let's talk about Ronda Rousey trying to come back in.
Ronda Rousey trying to come back in. We shall talk about that. I want to do a status check on my man Vince Russo. How are you?
I am okay, man. I'm good.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Let's jump right into it. So, Ronda Rousey to return to the Royal Rumble. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com reported, and Becky Lynch even responded. Now, there were some rumors of last year possibly being Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch. Rousey wanted to, just extend the family and things like that. She's been gone for a few years, actually. But looks like she's got that pro wrestling itch once again, and she wants to get back in the ring. DDP, does Ronda Rousey win the whole thing? Do we see Rousey versus Lynch? And my third question, Paige, is where does this leave Bianca Belair, my man?
Well, for starters, Ronda's talked a lot of shit about wrestling. She talked a lot of smack. Do you remember?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't cool, Ronda. That was not cool. And, Brock, who was the baddest man on the planet at one point in that, cage, he never talked so smack about what we do, because what we do is way harder than what they do physically on the body. That's why a lot of the guys want to jump over, because, what they do, they beat the hell out of their bodies, and the stuff's real. It's real, but we go back and forth from Dan Severn on down, UFC Hall of Famer, respect, Josh Barnett, respect, so you gotta have some respect there for what we do if you're going to come back and forth and make the money. That's the way I just personally feel, because I'm a fan too, and a girl like Becky Lynch, she proved she could draw. She probably was like the biggest drawing person at one time. Now, do I think they're money? Hell yeah. Do I think Vince will do it? Hell yeah. Because it's money. And right now, they're good with money, with all the money they're making off go. I know, we ain't seeing any of it, all the guys that help put it there, but I'm happy for the guys who are making the money and not having to work as hard as the other guys did.
Sure.
But when it comes down to money, Vince is always going to go with the money, and Ronda, no matter what, is money. It just should have been a little bit more respect on the outlay coming in. I thought Ronda did a hell of a job at that WrestleMania. I thought she kicked that, I thought she kicked ass. when she came in and the run that she got for as inexperienced as she was, you know. So I got a lot of respect for her, but that kind of, you know, like, got to respect what we do because nobody's harder on the body than us.
I agree. It's, you know, I agree. You know, Diamond Dallas Page shooting from the hip, and I love it, ladies and gentlemen. Bianca Belair, man, what do you got for her?
I think she's a bad woman, man. I remember seeing her before she'd done anything down at NXT when I went down there and did, you know, my program with everybody. And when I saw what an athlete she was, when they put together those packages of her as what she had done as an athlete, you know, she got plenty of time. You know, ain't nothing. If Ronda Rousey wants to step up, the girl's money, and will put eyeballs back on WWE that have nothing to do with wrestling fans. So, again, all these things. And Ronda's someone who can come back and forth, almost like her namesake, Roddy Piper, you know, who can come back. And when he leave, go do his thing, come back. He popped, you know, the territory for a bit. Then, you know, Roddy had that same thing. And, you know, for different reasons, she has that, you know.
Yeah, Vince, so Paige is making a point of Rousey needed to respect the business a lot more based on the post interviews when she made her exit. With that being said, Vince, it's potential that, you know, she's going to win the whole thing, have a title match against Becky Lynch. So that takes away the hardworking, every single week, bust her butt Bianca Belair that pushes her to the side for this type of putting more eyes. Is it worth it, or should you focus more on building the new star in Bianca Belair?
I got to tell you, Chris, I think you really have to be careful because Ronda left. She left before. She did it before. Now, I think a lot of the reason why she left, bro, was the house shows. She was not used to, you know, like Paige said, she'd have her big fight, you know, her and her opponent would kick the crap out of each other. Then she goes away for 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Right. She's training. Right. The house show, I think that's what killed her, bro. She was not ready for that. But the fact of the matter is she's already left once before. And I'm telling you, bro, Vince has to keep that in the back of his mind, because if you do it once, bro, you may be able to do it again. So if I'm Vince McMahon, I'm going to go with the safest bet. And I'm telling you, bro, Vince is going to weigh this, because when you look at Becky, bro, Becky got pregnant and Becky left to have a child. Well, what if Becky wants to have a second child? You know what I'm saying? So when you look at all that, Bianca Belair, I mean, looks like the stud and the stallion. She's young. She doesn't have a family right now. She's definitely committed. And I think Vince is going to look at all those things, because she is the future, bro. And even though you got Rousey there and Becky, bro, you got to keep her strong. You've got to keep her strong. She's still a little green. She still has to be built, but you got to keep her strong. And I really think, bro, I think what's going to play into this is who can Vince depend on. I really think he's going to look at that, bro.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, Vince. I think the money, I think from a business standpoint, and both of y'all know because y'all work with Vince, I think he sees the money in Rousey versus Becky Lynch just for the WrestleMania eyes. But honestly, I really think, I agree. I think the safe bet's in Bianca Belair. And if you bring in Rousey, if you bring back in Rousey, I don't have an issue with that. But if you're going to give Ronda Rousey the same money, have Ronda Rousey help build other stars. You're already bringing in the eyes because of Rousey. It's money to me to see heel Rousey versus babyface Bianca Belair. To me, that's where the money is. I wouldn't even mind, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even mind Rousey beating Becky Lynch for the title. And if you want to talk about a shoot feel, if Ronda Rousey is a UFC fighter. So if you think about all the females on the roster right now, the one who as a shoot looks like can go with her toe to toe the most is Bianca Belair. So I think that's where the money is. Thoughts?
I agree. Yep.
Yeah. What do you think, Paige?
I do too. She's a stud. You know,
Yeah.
I
I agree.
very early on, and certain people, you can look at somebody and go, that person has it.
Yeah.
And when she had long hair and all that, she just had something that was special. Like,
Agreed.
got a long shelf life, man. She's gonna be around.
I agree.
Yeah.
And to that point, what Vince was saying, dependability. She's married to Montez Ford. You know that she's like just locked and heart and soul is in the business. And the dependability factor is there with Bianca Belair.
And, bro, you got to remember, too, with Ronda Rousey, Chris, you got to remember, she doesn't need the money.
No.
So she can walk. She can walk. She's not going to be a prisoner to the money. You got to take all that into consideration, man.
100%. So you might as well use her to your advantage in WWE and have her build someone like a Bianca Belair. 100%.
Yep.
Let's go growing down memory lane, fellas. Let's settle the debates. Okay, I've got two gestures for you. I've got this, and I've got this. Okay, do we do the crotch chop or the too sweet? Which one's better? Paige, DDP. Do we have DX or the NWO? Which one's better?
First of all, Scott and Kev was doing this before anybody were. They were doing it before anybody were. Now, DX got it over, it's just the way that went. And then they took on their Wolfpack. There was no greater angle ever. Austin McMahon comes second to the NWO. No one ever in a million years thought that WCW/NWO didn't even exist. No one would have thought ever in a million years, including me, that we would have ever beat them on any level. Never mind, as Bischoff has, 83 weeks. And that's after a year of going back and forth. And never would have thought it in a million years. But it happened. Yeah. And it changed the face of wrestling. People thought, and that's why NWO shirts still are everywhere. It was 25 years ago. Think about that. There's still Austin 316 shirts too. But there's NWO shirts everywhere. And it's just right time, right place, right group. The two coolest guys ever, at the time, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. Hulk flipping that. The floodgates at TBS of parents calling in pissed off that Hulk Hogan made their babies cry. I mean, it was nothing like it, man. I was aboard that whole ride. The greatest thing for me, when Scott and Kev came in, they just started killing people. And Sting, being the smartest of the group, headed into the rafters because he's like, I see the writing on the wall here. And it allowed me to have my run because there was no one else for them to fight. And it was unbelievable for me. And the NWO, I think DX was amazing. I think it did a lot of great stuff. And they kept going because it was really crazy is that Shawn Michaels, maybe one of the top, if not the top worker ever, up there with Eddie Guerrero, that he wasn't there for that time because of the back surgery. But he came back. He came back, and still revitalized all of DX and right when they took it back. So it was really kind of crazy timing. So I think both were great, but NWO, man, for life.
So DDP is going to NWO. So if I were to play the contrarian DDP, and I said, well, the NWO was inundated with people. There were so many people in the NWO, and the DX kept it a tight-knit faction throughout the whole thing. What would be your response there, Paige?
What should have happened, and maybe it never does end, if WCW becomes NWO. And it's the NWO. Just kind of like ECW was. Maybe, and that's really what I thought that was going to happen. And by the time WCW people from Turner started developing that new stupid logo that looked like a spaceship, remember that towards the end? Like, if it just would have been switched, NWO / WCW, who knows what could have happened? Anything could have happened. But, you know, if Scott, and if you really look at the real DX, it is Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, Hulk Hogan, Waltman, and Bischoff. That's the real end. There was a lot of guys later. And Scotty Steiner was a huge part of that, without question. Buff, but those guys were the NWO. And Sean was both. Sean got
he was the quick. Yeah. Vince Russo, do you agree or disagree with the assessment of Paige when it comes to NWO versus DX?
Bro, I'll give credit where credit is due. I love those guys. DX. I mean, I was there from the start with those guys. Bro, I even remember, like, how the Suck It started, bro. Believe it or not, man, it was just a regular Raw, and Shawn Michaels came down the ramp, and he's doing the crotch shot, and he was just mouthing, "Suck it, suck it, suck it, suck it, suck it," and he came back, and I'm like, bro, like, that's it. Like, just I don't even think he realized he was doing it. But listen, bro, I make no bones about this whatsoever, man. I was, writing at the time, and I remember, bro, when Hogan joined the NWO, I was at Pritchard's house. And I said to myself, I didn't want to say it to Bruce because you can't say things like this out loud. I was like, we're dead. We're dead. We are dead. Bro, 1,000% I was inspired by the NWO. I wanted to work at WCW. I had a conversation with Eric about working there because that's how the business needed to evolve. Yeah. So without a shadow of a doubt, I was 1,000% inspired by the NWO. A lot of people, Chris, and it doesn't matter what I say. I could say this till I'm blue in the face. People want to say that, Vince Russo stole the Attitude Era from ECW. Bro, no disrespect to ECW. Chris, I probably saw maybe 4 ECW shows at that point. What they were doing on Nitro, that was it. I mean, that was it. And I stole from that. And I took from that. So 1,000%, bro, they were the innovators, and I will never take that away from them.
Real quick thought on ECW, Vince. Your personality fits so well with the non-caring, type of rebel attitude with ECW. Could you have ever seen yourself as an ECW personality from, like, WWE standpoint, like Lawler was? And
Chris, I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. And it's funny. Paige made this comment on Twitter today, and I almost commented back. I didn't want to get Paige hot, though. Bro, Chris, believe this or not, the shows that I did watch, ECW, when I was watching these shows, I was overcome with how in God's name is Paul Heyman getting these guys to do this stuff? Like, literally, bro, I thought somebody was going to die. And Chris, to this day, bro, I don't like watching wrestling where I have a fear of somebody getting hurt badly. That's not what turns me on. And getting back to Paige put over that diamond cutter today from the ladder. I looked at that this morning horrified. Like, what the freak? Why are you guys doing that? You know how easily, bro, Cody's neck could have been broken. Like, what? Bro, so it is a turnoff to me. Bro, that's why I don't like AEW. Because when I was watching it, I'm feeling every second like somebody is going to get paralyzed or die. I don't. That's not why I watch wrestling, bro.
The crossroads too from the ladder.
That's not why I watch wrestling.
Jeff Hardy, I watched him climb all the way up on the Trinitron and do the Swanton.
I can't take that stuff, bro. I can't.
And what I said was he took the diamond cutter to a level, first of all, I never would go to. I would never have the athletic ability that Sammy had. They got to think about what he's doing. And I'm looking at Cody, and I'm thinking, oh, no. Like, oh, wow, no. And Sammy, there's so much room for error. He could have sprung to that top, and his foot went to the left, and went bam. But he didn't. What guys like Sammy Guevara, how do you say his last name?
Guevara.
I mean, he's phenomenal. From the first time I ever saw him walk out with his panda bear head, the first time I ever AEW, I was like, that guy's going to be a huge star. And I told him, I walked over to him, I said, you're going to be a huge star, bro. Keep your feet on the ground. You know, try not to let it fly through the air as you go on this ride. Because I knew he was going somewhere, and the people obviously are behind him. But what he is a surfer who surfs 30-foot waves on pipeline. And he's just diving down that wave, no fear. And he has fear for a moment, he could have screwed up. Cody, the timing of Cody to drop and then the suplex, like, I get sore just watching that, you know. But when I say there'll never be a better diamond cutter, or unless they're jumping out of a plane, you know, and they're coming and crashing to the mat. The one before that I thought was unbelievable, and Frankie Kazarian, and I believe it was Chris Angel, and they were up on the X Factor Impact ring and the cage, and he fell, but he hung by his knees, Chris, and Frankie slid back, caught him, and they both did the exact same fall, but different. That's the only one.
That match. Yeah, it was the Ultimate X match. Yeah.
Unbelievable. And for me, all these guys do all these crazy cutters that they call them. It's a diamond cutter. I wouldn't be doing those diamond cutters because I couldn't. But do it, and they survive. Thumbs up. But like you say, Vince, I say it all the time. You know, like, you guys are going to be hating your body at a different level. You know, way early. Yeah, I'm going to be 66. I'm going in for both of my hands being cut and elbows, easy surgery, carpal tunnel, like the numbness in my hands and arms. But my doc's like, it'll be gone like that. But that's what you got to do. You know, surgeries. You know, unbelievable move though, dude.
I agree.
Call him back.
Yeah, real,
He might be a little busy.
yeah. Real quick before we go to our final segment, a couple minutes in that. Just my take is less is more, and I think those spots, if you do those spots, you got to lower the other spots. That if you keep doing a bunch of wacky spots, that wacky spot is just a wacky spot among many wacky spots. So if you do that big spot, that's the reason why I think Cody doing that spot makes more sense, because he's more grounded. He doesn't do a lot of wacky spots, so that was like a big shocker. But when Sammy did it, it was just like, whoa, and then he did the swanton from like 80 feet up in the air on that match too. So it was just like, you want to have a good balance, so it means more to me. So,
well, in the real world of telling stories, less is more. Less is more.
Absolutely.
But
less is more.
Wrestling has become, there's two different wrestling, and some of them mix with storytelling and what I call video game wrestling.
Yeah.
People are video games, and there's been people who have shown wrestling shows, and they get the screens up, and they get two people. Oh, they're playing a video game.
Yeah.
And getting reaction. So it's kind of like the Daffy Duck, Bugs Bunny commercial that we grew up with, Vince. And Daffy Duck, he can't beat Vic. He can't beat Bugs Bunny. And they're going back and forth and being more and more treacherous. And then Daffy finally does the nitroglycerin and the TNT and the gunpowder. And then he lights the match, and boom.
Yeah.
You see Daffy flying up as an angel, and everybody's going crazy. And Bugs looks up and he goes, "Oh my God, it was unbelievable! Unbelievable! How do you do it again?"
Yeah. Yeah. But at least still with that, there was still a story arc too leading to those big boom moments. You know, I mean, it wasn't just boom, 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 boom all over the place. So, all right, real quick, let's close it down. Seth Rollins. Well, this is the low bro segment as we're landing the plane. Seth Rollins mentioned Jon Moxley during his promo, which is very un-WWE like. So a report from Ringside News states that it was 100% scripted to be on the promo. Now, that was a rumor there. There was a report from Ringside News. Now, if that report is indeed true, Paige, what is going on here when it comes to the possible evolution of WWE incorporating other companies like AEW in their promo right? I
think what used to be at WWE is not what it is moving forward. I think I think whoever's can control the writing there, they're growing. And just having, and we talked about this, having Mickey on last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about her coming on, and being a part of the women's battle royal. She's from Impact. It's like, it doesn't hurt anybody, to have something coming in, and it's just another rumor that gets people talking. Mox ain't going anywhere. I mean, he just came back, and he left for a reason. And I would bet, I don't know him, but I listened to what he said when he left, and he had a great interview on Jericho, and I understand a lot of what he was talking about, because I kind of went through a lot of that when I got there. And he was the third man on that totem pole, and he's created his own mission statement at AEW. So I think that's smart for WWE to start to cross through the water.
Yeah. Vince Russo, take us home. What are your thoughts on Jon Moxley being used on a WWE promo?
My thoughts are what they always were, bro, because I was in both positions. When you are number 2, you throw the kitchen sink at number 1. DX is going to invade WCW. We are going to skywrite in the sky. your number 2, you're throwing the kitchen sink because you want them to reference you, and you want to get their attention. You want them to put you over. So when you're number 2, bro, you throw the kitchen sink. However, on the other side of the coin, when you're number 1, nobody else exists. Right. Nobody else exists. I'm sorry. Now, I can understand the Mickey James thing and everything like that. You know, Vince needs bodies in the Rumble. Impact isn't a pimple on his backside. And, you know, that's a good draw. That's a good surprise. But a WWE talent at this stage in the game mentioning, bro, for argument's sake, say a casual fan only watched the WWE and was a fan of the Shield. Now Rollins cuts this promo, and now that person at home is saying, oh, wait, Jon Moxley is wrestling someplace else? Well, what's this AEW? No. When you're number 1, number 2 does not exist. That's my philosophy.
So, Vince, are you saying that it wasn't scripted?
I find that very hard to I find that very hard to believe that it was scripted with Vince's knowledge. I find that very hard to believe.
Agree or disagree, Paige?
You never know. You never know. It sure seems like Seth does, you know, because Seth, he was, as far as I'm concerned, he was like one of the guys I would call like the man at one point. Like we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, when they keep shifting what he looks like and who he is. He's still a great talent, but they keep in like what he's doing, you know, and that's not him. That's the office, as far as I'm concerned. Because if it would be something, he would be being it every week. So, I don't know.
Somebody just said on here, first of all, bro, these comments, Chris, with all due respect, somebody just said in here, so McDonald's doesn't know Burger King exists? Bro, how many McDonald's commercials are you watching where they're putting Burger King over? How many, bro? How many McDonald's commercials are they eating Burger King fries? You dunce. That's what I'm talking about, bro. Yeah, McDonald's in their commercials, they talk about Burger King. Okay, all right, bro, please. Hey. Oh.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to close up the Bro Show. McDonald's and Burger King. Have it your way.
Bro, the next I'm going to pitch McDonald's. In the next commercial, have Burger King walk up to the counter and order something. How about that, bro? Does that work for this lunatic watching the show, bro? Oh, God.
Boys, I'm out of here.
All right. With that being said, that's DDP, Vince Russo, McDonald's, Burger King, Raw Rumble. I'm out of here. Yeah.